So today we are going to be doing a mock draft right here, and it's going to be another collab mock draft back with the artist formerly known as Unbeatable Jacob, now Pistons Jacob. And before we get on to this one, if you could subscribe to this channel, that'd be great. We're trying to hit 11,500 subscribers by the end of the day. If we hit that, that would be incredible. And also, if you have not seen, I'm bringing up your channel as well, Jacob. Go subscribe to Pistons Jacob if you are a Pistons fan. Well, hopefully you guys are surviving right now because you guys have not been good since since that Iverson Chauncey Billups trade. But we've got Pistons Jacob right here. We'll leave a link to the channel in the description. So how are you, Jacob?
Not too bad. I appreciate you having me on here a couple days away from the draft. Super excited for it. This is Pistons fans Super Bowl, so it's a great time of year for us.
I mean, it is your Super Bowl, but like you've won the Matas Buzelis sweepstakes.
I hope so. I've seen some mocks with him going to 4, and last time I was on, I was pretty clear about that's my guy at 5. So I'm hoping he's on the board. So we'll see.
Surely there's no way he goes 4.
It's so up in the air right now. I don't think there's anything that can happen that would shock me too much at this point. I really don't know, but we'll hope.
Yeah. So I'll give you the first pick. I'm gonna give you the first pick in this mock. I think that's the fairest way to do it. I'm gonna give you the first pick.
Yeah, I like that. And this is a tricky one. Obviously, it's pretty much down to 2 players at this point, and I'm definitely leaning Zachary Ricochet. That's the player I would pick if I was the Hawks, and the more that I've read into this, I don't think that they've even had Sarr in for a workout. If they did, it was pretty late in the year, so we're going to take him first. I have no idea what they'll do going forward with Trey, DeJounte, and all that type of stuff, but I just see more upside with Ricochet, which is a probably uncommon thing to hear. I'm not high on Sarr at all, so he's there at 2 if you want him.
Yeah, like I actually have a feeling that if Alex Sarr gets drafted number 1, so obviously their first pick at the Hawks select Zachary Ricochet. I think if Alex Sarr goes number 1, he's going to be traded. I don't think the Hawks want him, and it's very clear the Hawks don't want him. But I think there are enough teams that want Alex Sarr. As in, I think the Spurs want him. I think the Wizards want him. I think someone else is going to want them. So I think if you're the Hawks, especially if, for example, you might like a Stephon Castle over anyone else, you might go and trade with San Antonio 4th and one of your picks for Sarr. So I think Sarr goes my prediction would be Sarr to go number 1, but for them to trade, maybe even down to Washington at number 2. But obviously, if he's on the board, Washington are taking Alex Sarr.
Yeah, I think right now that's probably about the only thing that's certain in this draft is those 2 guys going 1st and 2nd, and very possible they could get traded. So that leaves us at number 3 with the Rockets. And I am actually going to go with Reed Sheppard here. I think that Reed is the type of guy who isn't going to be a great fit almost anywhere, but he's also not going to be a bad fit anywhere. I feel like so many of these teams, bar the Spurs, have a guard that's kind of a star or at least a budding star. So I don't really think that there's going to be too many teams out there that are scared away from taking him, but he also doesn't fit in perfect, but in that kind of off-ball role that he does play well, I think that they're just going to get him in the room, see what they do in the future going forward. Of course, that makes a little bit of a logjam with guys like Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, but I think he's just going to be the best player available in their eyes at that point, and they'll go ahead and take Reed at number 3.
I'm so low on Reed Sheppard, but I think that he might go number 3. I think you might be right with that. And at the number 4 pick, the San Antonio Spurs trade with the Memphis Grizzlies to get the number 9 pick and something else, and Marcus Smart. And the Memphis Grizzlies draft Donovan Clingan.
Okay. Clingan's been attached. Yeah.
I can't get it to change from saying San Antonio Spurs, but I think the Memphis Grizzlies draft Donovan Clingan with the 4th pick.
Yeah, it'd be a situation where he probably puts the hat on stage anyways, but that's an interesting one. People have talked about that in the Pistons community as well, as if Clingan is there trading with the Grizzlies. I know he's been very attached to the Grizzlies, and obviously he's not going to fall that far down. So that would be interesting. And you said Smart going back to the Spurs?
Yeah. It gives them the
Kind of like
defense they
that.
need. It means that they don't have to be so focused on taking Stephon Castle. It gives them defense. It gives them a bit of shooting. He's not the greatest playmaker, but they're not the hardest thing in the world to find. Like I think
Yeah,
he'll help them. He'll help them as much as Stephon Castle will short term anyway.
that defense would start looking kind of crazy. It'd be pretty hard to score on a pick and roll when Smart's guarding ball and Wemby's sitting there in drop coverage. That would make for a pretty interesting defensive scheme. I like that.
I'm
I like that a lot,
guessing.
actually.
I'm guessing you're taking the GOAT with the 5th pick.
Buzelis. Yeah. I actually have a full video out on my YouTube channel, my newly started Pistons focused YouTube channel, explaining why I'm high on Matas. Long story short, I buy the shot. The 120 attempts that he took on a G League Ignite team that's going to cease to exist going forward doesn't faze me. I watch him shoot. I believe in the mechanics. He might still have a long road to being like a good NBA player. He's not going to come in, I don't think, and win Rookie of the Year right off the bat. But I think that if you buy the shot like I do, there's no reason that he shouldn't not be a top 5 pick in this draft. It's him or bust for me going forward with the Pistons. There's a couple guys I'd probably be able to sell myself on, but I'm all in on Matas coming to Detroit. So
not high on like Dalton Connect or anything.
Not at 5. Not at 5. If there's a situation where we trade back or something like that, that's a different story. But at number 5, if we're gonna sit there at that 5th pick and take somebody, I want to take somebody that has upside, and Matas has that. So I think that's just like the pick that we need to make if we're gonna select at 5. If there's a trade, I could be talked into some other players here in the lottery. But yeah, if we're taking 5, it's got to be Matas in my eyes.
Okay, so at number 6. The what's their names? The Charlotte Hornets select Ron Holland. I think they don't keep Miles Bridges, and I think he can come right into that 6'6", ultra athletic, undersized power forward, big small forward role. He's going to give them something. I think as far as talent goes, you're not going to get much better than him. And I think for Charlotte, who already have their guards positions sorted, I think that he's a good pick, especially when Castle has refused to work out for them because he doesn't believe that they'll let him play point guard.
Yeah, and I think that that's just not a good fit in general next to LaMelo, considering that he doesn't want to play point guard. I guess unless he believes that LaMelo might go down and he can fill in that role eventually. But yeah, I see that. I think that's actually a good pick there. And that takes us to number 7 with the Trailblazers. And I'm going to take Cody Williams here for the Trailblazers. It's a little higher than we had him going on our last mock, but I've been seeing him climb back up boards. There was a good reason why he was as high as he was at one point in time throughout the year. At some points, he was mocked number 1. I think at number 7, he fits in well there. Put him next to Sharp, put him next to Scoot. I think that he can plug in and play and kind of just fit that core for sure. So I'm going to go Cody Williams at number 7.
Okay. At number 8, to the San Antonio Spurs, I think they take... I think if he's still on the board here at 8, they're probably still going to take Stephon Castle. So San Antonio Spurs at 8, draft Stephon Castle. I think he'll be fine at the 1. At least it's going to be an ultra defensive lineup. Sure, Wemby might not get his spacing and his playmaking, but he's Wemby. I think they're still going to be pretty good with that lineup. So, yeah, I think Stephon Castle could be there. And then at 9, by the way, this is for the Spurs.
We got
not the Grizzlies.
Spurs, yeah.
It's the Spurs.
Yeah, so in this hypothetical, we now have Stephon Castle at the 1 with Marcus Smart kind of on that off-ball combo guard role. So that changes up a lot. So at number 9 for the Spurs, all things considered here now, I'm going to go Dalton Connect. I think in this hypothetical, now you've kind of got a way of going about this where you have Stephon Castle at the 1, Marcus Smart at the 2. That's a little bit of a not great shooting backcourt. So let's go ahead and get them some spacing out there and take Dalton Connect at number 9 for the Spurs.
Okay. Because obviously Devin Vassell's not moving out with that starting lineup, I hope.
Yeah. We'll be kind of keeping an eye on that one, I guess, in that situation, because I could see him getting moved out if they end up going with Castle, honestly, and Keldon Johnson might be. Who
I
knows
think
what's going to happen with him?
I think Keldon Johnson's definitely gone. I doubt they're not moving for sale.
Yeah, I can't say I'm super tapped in with how they feel about him. So yeah, they could all play together. There's enough minutes to
At
go around
number
there.
10, the Jazz. It just depends. I could see the Jazz actually going for the tank this year. I could see the Larry Markkinen trade finally happening. I could see them going for the tank. And with the number 10 pick, the Utah Jazz select Nikola Topic. He's not going to play for a year. They're redshirting him. And I think he has probably the highest upside left other than Salone of anyone. And it's harder to find good point guards than it is to find good wings, especially with the fact that kids are becoming demigods nowadays.
Yeah, I think Topic getting hurt kind of throws a curveball in all of this because I think the last time we had this mock, what was he, fourth or something along those lines?
Fourth, I think so. Yeah.
Would not be surprised. That makes sense though. And if they do hypothetically get off of Lowry, they'll get a lot of picks back. Not only is Lowry good, but Danny Ainge is a wizard, so they'll get a war chest back for that. That would definitely kick off a rebuild. Number 11, the Chicago Bulls. This might shock some people, but that's what the Chicago Bulls do when they're making decisions, is shock people. I know that Giddey trade kind of came out of left field.
That's a great
number
trade.
11.
I don't care what anyone says. Giddey trade was a good trade. They got offered the 13th pick. Giddey's better than the 13th pick.
I don't think it was a good trade, but I don't think it was like malpractice like some people are making it out to be. People forget what Giddey was before all the off-court stuff happened. He was good his second year. I see why they did it, but yeah. And they're going to shock the world here again at number 11 and go with Zach Edey. I think that it's just a thing right now with the Bulls where they are doing everything that would possibly be realistic, but somehow managing to piss off their fan base. So we're going to go Zach Edey at number 11. I just feel like that's a very Chicago Bulls thing to do right now. I feel like has...
But what about Vucevic? They already have their quota of slow-footed bigs that can't really play, that can't guard anyone on the perimeter. Oh my!
Yeah, well,
I don't even hate him at 11. I just think he go.
Doesn't it seem like something the Bulls would do right now, though, just with the way that they're managing their team?
I would have thought you would have went. Let's replace Alex Caruso with young Alex Caruso and Devin Carter.
Devin Carter, yeah, he's been flying up mocks. I'm surprised he's still there at 11. And
I don't think he's going to be there at 12 either. At the number 12 pick, after flaming out on Ousmane Dieng, the last ultra-lengthy French guy that had limitless potential, because they're the OKC Thunder, they're already fine. They don't need anybody. Let's draft another ultra-lengthy French guy with unbelievable ceiling. Let's draft Salone. Let's not give him to the OKC Thunder. Please, somebody take him before the Thunder. Let the Thunder just get an average out player. Don't let him go to OKC, please.
So at number 13, we've got the Kings. And there is one guy left on our board here that has been mocked way higher than 13 for most of this draft cycle. The Kings in the past have shown that they are willing to take players that maybe don't fit perfectly and move off them later, of course, with Halliburton. So let me just plug in Rob Dillingham here. I just think it's a best player available thing. I don't think that that's a great fit behind De'Aaron Fox. Maybe he can, play spot minutes behind Fox for a year or two and just see what they've got and kind of have a second Halliburton situation, see if they can raise up his value and then move off him in a year or two.
And the fact Fox won't sign long-term either.
Yeah, they might be looking at something mixed up here. I mean, they, of course, had a great year 2 years ago, and this year wasn't so great. So they could who knows? Could go back to rebuild.
Okay, so the 14th pick, the Blazers. Who did you took? Cody Williams.
7.
Apparently, the Blazers really want a big, because I don't think they're big fans of DeAndre Ayton. So with the 14th pick, the Portland Trail Blazers draft Kyle Ware. I think I'm so high on him. I think he's going to be one of the steals of this draft, especially if he goes low.
Yeah, Yeah, that'd be a good player to get at the back end of the lottery for sure. I would not be surprised to see that at all. So Devin Carter is really kind of the loser of our mock here. I'd say he's probably the main guy who's been getting a lot of lottery love lately who didn't get picked up. I'd say, hey,
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's the only player. Him and Jacoby Walter projected to go in the lottery. So who do you have at 15? We'll just go quickly through the rest of the first round. Try to get it done maybe 5 minutes.
yeah, 15 to the Heat. I think that'd be a great spot for Devin Carter. If he's still there at that point, that'd be a great spot for Devin Carter. He fits the culture of the Heat. I can see that entirely.
He probably
Who
starts.
knows?
He probably starts the one.
I think he might be like the Hami Hakas of the year with the Heat too, where he comes in and as an older rookie ready to play, and people are like, wow, this guy's good, and I could see that. Yeah.
At number 16, I'm trying to think what the Sixers need.
Paul George.
Yeah, they're probably gonna go and get someone big. So I'm thinking, I like Jacoby Walter for them. I'm going to say they take a stab because they can afford to do it on highest player, highest potential. And I'm going to say 16 pick, the Pistons draft Isaiah Collier.
The Pistons?
Say not the Pistons, the Sixers draft Isaiah Collier.
Okay. I was going to say, I better hope we aren't taking Collier. It doesn't fit us, but that takes us to 17 here.
What do you mean it doesn't fit you? He's drafting another point guard. It's not like he didn't do it 3 times in a row.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you could replace Killian Hayes minutes. He's gone now, so he could. But number 17 for the Lakers, I think Clutch pulls their strings and Bronny James goes here. I could see it. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. LeBron was able to get his guy to come in and coach with JJ.
I can't even find.
I think it might happen.
Where is Bronny James? He's there at 50. They have him going 54 to Boston. That's hilarious.
54.
They have him going.
I wouldn't bet on it, but I would not be absolutely blown away if his name is called at 17 there. I would not be stupidly shocked. I don't think it's super likely, but we'll take him for the sake of it here.
17. Bronny going 17. You know what? I actually think it's not out around possibility because I think Phoenix are going to say, I think Clutch are going to be like, well, Phoenix are taking him at 20. Phoenix or 22. Phoenix are taking him. Just letting you know, Phoenix are taking him. And then the Lakers go and do it. So, the number 18 pick, the Orlando Magic, they're a good team. They just need more 3-and-D players. And I actually think they fluffed so badly last year's draft when they really could have used Grady Dick. I think they fluffed so badly on that they're going to take another. They're going to say, you know what? We did not draft the tall shooting guard from Kansas, who actually would have been a great fit for us, who picked it up towards the end of last year. I think they're going to take the tall shooting guard from Kansas this year, and they're going to take Johnny Furphy at 18.
Okay. I actually like that pick. And 19, who has that now? The Pacers do, right? No.
No, the Raptors
came to him probably from that Pascal trade. Okay. So that's the Raptors here now. The Raptors are just looking to get talent in the door at this point. I'm going to go Bub Carrington. Definitely is somebody who I think can end up being the steal of the draft. One of the youngest players in the draft. One of the deepest bags in the draft. Good size. I see limitless potential with Bub Carrington. And if you can get him at 19, I think you're getting a great value there.
Okay. At 20, it is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And considering the fact they're probably losing one of their 2 guards, I think they probably will take Jared McCain here. Like, he's not going to give you what a Garland gives you if you get off Garland, but at least he's a guard off the bench that will give you something, that will give you some sort of scoring. This is a team that was playing Sam Merrill for a little bit last year. I think Jared McCain could be a huge pickup for them.
Okay. That brings us to 21 with the Pelicans. I'm going to go ahead and take Kyle Flipkowski. I'm not sure how the Pelicans feel about Valanciunas long-term. I'm not sure if he can actually give you everything that Val does. I think he's kind of a different player, but either way, he can fill bigs minutes, and if he's there, I think that's a solid pick at 21.
And he can actually, like, space the floor to some extent with Zion.
Yeah. He'd be a decent fit, honestly. Another Duke guy.
At 22, and this is crazy because I don't think Phoenix go best player available. Because there's no way you can turn Jacoby Walter into a point guard. I think the Phoenix Suns are either going to take a point guard or they're going to take a center. And right now, the best at either of those positions left in the draft. Wow. They're going to take Yves Missy from Baylor. He's big and athletic. He's the opposite profile to Nurkic, so.
Brings us to 23 with the Bucks. I'm going to go Ryan Dunn. I think that they're just lacking perimeter defense as bad as anyone. Ryan Dunn, great defensive prospect. I think that there's a lot to be desired on the other end of the ball, but I think that they're really going to prioritize getting a guy who can potentially guard out on the perimeter because they don't have anybody bar Pat Bev to do that. And I don't think Pat Bev has the size to actually walk up some of the main guys that they'll be seeing. So I'll go Ryan Dunn.
I had him as a lock going to New York. But
Okay.
New York, with the 24th pick in the draft, the New York Knicks are going to select Terrence Shannon Jr., a wing who I think would be considered way higher if it wasn't for the whole... Well, we know what happened with Terrence Shannon Jr., that he was proven... You can't say proven innocent, but as good as proven innocent. Yeah, like, obviously the off-court stuff turns out that, well, he's 1,000,000% not guilty. Was proven in a court of law. And I think that he's someone that is lottery pickability to get a 24 is a very good pick.
You're not wrong. He might have gone a lot higher if it wasn't for that. So the Knicks actually have back-to-back picks here. And I think right now for the Knicks, I think Deron Holmes is going to be the pick. Hard to say. Maybe they move off Mitchell Robinson, or iHeart is also a free agent here this summer. I think that he just kind of fits what the Knicks are doing right now as far as just kind of personality and everything like that. So I think between that and his actual ability, he's a great pick at 25.
Okay, and the Washington Wizards are going to have the best draft of any team in history, according to this, because with the 26th pick, the Washington Wizards are going to have the opportunity to take Jacoby Walter at 26.
Wow. He slipped. He slipped bad.
But, like, I'm looking and it's like, there are a couple of times, it's like, I chose Furphy. He probably would have went 18, but I was like, I've just this weird logic of, you know when you pass on, when teams, when they pass on a player 1 year and the next year they go and try to draft the closest thing to that player. Like when Toronto were doing everything they could to get Giannis, and then the next year was the Bruno Caboclo draft. So this guy should not have been drafted at all, and they took him at like 14 because they were scared of him being the next Giannis. I'm pretty sure because of the whole Grady Dick situation, they'll be like, you know what? Let's take the tall white shooting guard out of Kansas. But no, Jacoby Walter at 26 will be the steal of this draft.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be that surprised. There's going to be some sort of huge shock where somebody drops like that. Not only is this draft weird, it happens every year, right? Like when Bull
who's your prediction of the I was about to say, who's your prediction to be the Cam Whitmore of this draft?
Yeah, Cam Whitmore. I think Dillingham honestly kind of slid in our mock, and I could see him slipping in the real draft too. Maybe not to that degree down to 20, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he fell out of the lottery. He might be the number one guy.
Yeah, me. I've heard for what's his name, Ron Holland, he could go as high as 3 or as low as 25. Like,
yeah, might be a couple of them this year, honestly.
Yeah. So you're up at 27.
27. We're gonna go Tyler Kolek here. I'm high on Kolek. I think that he fits kind of what they look for a bit over there. As far as point guards go, of course, he's similar to Mike Conley in some ways, and similar to Monte Morris in some ways. And I think that obviously there's a time frame on Conley, so I think that he might be a good fit there. And I also am just high on Kolek in general. I like him a lot.
Okay, so the Denver Nuggets. And now there are guys left here for Denver. Like, with the way we have this draft, I'm not sure what Denver are going to look, because are they going to look... I think they're probably going to look more so for center depth than anything else. So, there's guys that I really like here, but I don't think fit Denver. Like, I really like Jurisic. I really like depending on the situation, I really like Dadier. I think he could be one of the steals of this draft. Jalen Tyson's good. Like Clintman's still on the board. Tyler Smith's still on the board. Keyshawn George is an unbelievable 3-and-D player. Tristan Da Silva's still there. I can't believe we're going to let one of Dadier, Da Silva, or Tyler Smith drop into the second round. But I just think because they need a center that's not in the mold of Nikola Jokic, I think they take Adam Bonner because he's the most athletic player in this draft. So I think he's going to be that rim running center. He's going to be what they thought DeAndre Jordan was going to be for them, to just give him something completely different at center. He's going to back up Jokic. I think he's going to give him big minutes straight away in the Daniel Gafford molds.
29 here for the Jazz in this hypothetical. They are kind of pivoting towards a rebuild, but I'm going to go Tristan Da Silva regardless. I think that it would be a great value pick at 29 for any team, so I'll just go Tristan Da Silva.
Do you think if Tristan Da Silva is still there at 29, that the Jazz make a trade with somebody for future first-round picks to get, you could get a future first for Tristan Da Silva, and let's be real, you get a future first and probably a future second for him if he's still there at 29, and also it's almost impossible for a draft pick to be worse than 29.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that would make sense. I mean, Ainge is a genius when it comes to this stuff. If a player falls to them at 29 who shouldn't be there at 29, but he's not a guy they want, I believe in Ainge to be able to orchestrate something there.
And thank you. You did not let the Celtics steal Tristan Da Silva. So this 30th pick is a tough one because what do the Celtics even need? Because everyone's coming back. What do they need in their team? They've already got a big. They've got a backup big. Even their third choice pick in Luke Cornett's probably the best third choice big. You've got your Peyton Pritchard, who's just your spark plug. I'm torn because I really like Jurisic. I rate Melvin Ajinka so high. I think he can be a bucket. I think Juan Nunez is not a bad player. And Keyshawn George is just more of what you need in basketball. Just a 3-and-D wing. I think Boston, because they're already a perfect team, I think they're going to take what they don't have, which is a pure playmaking point guard. I don't think he's the best player available. I think George or Dadier are the best players available. But I think they're going to go... I think they might take Juan Nunez just as your quite tall, good playmaking point guard who I think will come in and maybe give the Celtics something. But also at the same time, Celtics don't need the players to play straight away, which is also why maybe Dadier could go in there. But yeah, that is the first round done. I like a lot of the fringe first round. I actually think this is probably one of the better second rounds we've ever seen, even though all the players at the start of it are poor.
Exactly what I was going to say. You really realize it when you mock it this late. People say this is a bad draft class. It's a bad draft class at the top. Where you're getting at 29, 30 in that kind of range is probably above average for what you actually get at 29, 30 in other years, for sure.
Yeah, But, yeah, I just don't... I think in some drafts, Reece Shea is not a top 10 pick. I think Reed Shepherd is not a lottery pick in most drafts. But also, there is no way that Dadier falls out of the first round. Or Keyshawn George in most drafts.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a good year to have two-night draft. And when we turn it on for the second night, there's actually going to still be some solid dudes left.
Yeah. And it's going to be the Bronny James day. To be fair, we also did take Bronny James in the first round in this draft.
Yeah.
I'm looking through the first round. Bronny James went in that first round, went 17th. That threw everything off. And I got Johnny Furphy going 18th. What is I'm trying to think what the most ridiculous pick is from this mock. I think Bronny at 17 has to be up there, the most ridiculous. And I also think Jacoby Walter falling to 26.
Yeah. Eddie at 11 is kind of crazy too, but don't rule it out.
I think Zach Edey, if Memphis don't make that trade at 4, Zach Edey goes 9.
Goes 9?
Yeah. Apparently Portland really want... Have you heard the Portland thing?
No, is he
Portland
tied to
really
them
want
now?
no. Portland really want him, but they don't think he's going to be there at 14, so they might have to take him at 7.
Yeah, he might actually be undermocked on this. Who knows?
Yeah,
It's gonna be crazy. It's
but
crazy.
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see. Again, maybe it could be Reed Shepherd. Like, everyone's so set on Reed Shepherd going 3, but I'm looking at past 3. Where the hell does Reed Shepherd fit?
Exactly.
Like, if he falls past 3,
Nowhere.
he could go. I'm trying to think where he could fit best past 3. Going 15 to Miami? Like,
Maybe the Pistons would take him at 5, but I don't know. I mean, like I said, he like doesn't fit anywhere, but he also does fit everywhere. It's a
Yeah.
weird one because it's just a weird mold.
we've
It's a weird
never
mold for him.
seen a glue guy go. The last time we saw a glue guy go top 3 was Otto Porter, and we all remember the 2013 draft, where, again, exactly like this, you got a draft where Gobert goes 30th, where Kelly Olynyk is barely a lottery, or I don't even think he was a lottery pick, where Tim Hardaway Jr., I think, goes in the late teens, early 20s, but then you've got Trey Burke going 9th, Shabazz Muhammad going in the lottery, you've got all of this other stuff, you've got Alex Len going 5th, Noel going 6th, Porter 3rd, Bennett 1st, Ben McLemore 7th. We've got all these garbage guys in the top 10, but like in reality, you got Giannis at 15. You got all of these good players in the late, a lot of good players in the late first round. Like Mason Plumlee's been decent enough. He was late first round, but yet you pass on him till the end of the first round and you draft Cody Zeller 4.
Cody Zeller at 4. That's hard to comprehend, but that did happen.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, thank you for coming on. That was 30-minute long. That's probably the longest video on this channel. And obviously, go subscribe to Pistons Jacob. And if you're not going to subscribe for a Pistons fan, subscribe for the profile picture with Zeke. Subscribe for Zeke. And if you're wondering who Zeke is the dog.
Named after Isaiah Thomas. The Pistons fandom runs deep, so there you go.